council meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Longnecker.
Here.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Connors. Mr. Malloy.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Edgerton City Council meeting and ask everybody to please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
consent agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion second. Roll call.
Mr. Longnecker.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Connors. Mr. Malloy.
Motion carries 4-0. Declarations, council have anything to declare any conflicts of communications that can influence your decisions. Hearing and seeing none, move into public comment. Members of the public are welcome to present their items of concern to the city council. The city council will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the city council make decisions on items presented during this time. Speakers should address their comments to the city council only, not members of the audience or staff. Persons wishing to address city council must sign up before the meeting begins. Speakers must provide their name and address for the record and are limited to 3 minutes. The maximum time limit for all speakers will be a total of 30 minutes. So Todd, you're gonna do the 30 minute time, all right?
Yep.
Okay, who do we have first?
I have Scott Lawrence.
Scott, welcome.
My name is Scott Lawrence, 19370 Edgerton Road, Edgerton, Kansas. First, I think we should all thank the MAC for their interest in spending $860 million in our small town of Edgerton. It's one of the largest to be data centers in Kansas. I hope they do spend all that money here in town. But if lawsuits come up in the future after the build out, lawsuits could be much more costly than to just terminate this now. But even though we are a small little town, we do have pages and pages of city codes, as you should know, city codes that could potentially be violated and require DMAC to stop all operations. Just like the simple code that got this denied the first time, there is more. The first code I'd like to bring to your attention is Chapter 8, Health and Wellness on page 40. The general prohibition: no person shall release or cause to be released into the MS4, the storm sewer system, or into any surface water within the city. Any discharge that's not composed entirely of stormwater that is free of pollutants. Under DMAC current revised development plans, they state a one-time draw of 650,000 gallons of water and use propylene glycol to treat your water to prevent corrosion. This has a lifespan shorter than your typical antifreeze in your car. Therefore, 650 gallons would need to be replaced every 2 to 4 years. This type of coolant is not as bad for the environment, but it still needs to be discarded properly, which would most likely involve a truck hauling it away. Even in years with little rain, they will still need to operate and pull from our water supply. Other concerns is still the sound pollution that could cause. If the constant sound turns out to be louder than they have stated, what will the solution for this be? My other concern is the time of the year that they did the sound test, because I know the sound will travel further in the colder temperatures. And I thought it was a coincidence that at the front up there, there's a brochure that says, you know, to conserve water right here. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Carrie Schmidt.
Welcome, Gary.
All right, city council members, why aren't you speaking up about how data centers were added to the business park and logistics park districts? The people you represent didn't get their chance to have a public hearing. Are you really okay with that? I know you voted against a 6-month moratorium on data centers, but I'm going to point out that your own moratorium action item and resolution shows that the city of Edgerton knows that this city has no right for a by right on data centers in the VP and LP districts. And that's based off of the language written by, in the action item, Beth Lynn, and then in the resolution, Todd Luckman. Ms. Beth's action item on the moratorium states, if approved, city staff will use the time to study the issue and make recommendations to the planning commission and city council regarding revisions to the Unified Development Code and other standards related to data centers, and ensure consistency and fairness by preventing non-conforming uses that could undermine a comprehensive zoning plan. Any recommendation changes to the UDC would follow the zoning amendment procedures outlined in the UDC. That includes public hearing at a planning commission with final consideration by city council. By the way, that's what should have happened to begin with, following proper procedure. In the resolution it states, whereas current zoning and development standards may not adequately address the unique characteristics, demands, and potential effects of data centers. And then later on it states, the city council, after due consideration of the facts presented by city officers, being informed of matters of public importance regarding the unique issues related to data center uses. You just recognized that data centers have unique issues. They're different. Then it states further that the time limit of 6 months would allow city staff the necessary time to study the issue and make recommendations to the Planning Commission and City Council regarding revisions to the Unified Development Code and other standards related to data centers, and ensure consistency and fairness by preventing non-conforming uses that undermine a comprehensive zoning plan. So if the city did not believe there were special concerns that needed special zoning changes, then why did you write a resolution using the wording as if it were? That's because the city knows that Zachary Moore and you all had no right to add data centers in the code by right. Thank you.
Yes. William LaFalce.
My voice is going, so bear with me, please. Evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm William LaFalce, 516 West 4th Street. Rebellion against tyranny is obedience to God. John Locke's social contract theory, introduced in his second treatise of government, asserts that people form governments by mutual consent to protect their inalienable natural rights to life, liberty, and property. It establishes that governmental authority is conditional and that citizens have a fundamental right to revolt if the state abuses that power. Conditional government and right to revolt. Locke emphasizes that political authority is conditional. Governments exist to protect natural rights, and if they fail or act against these purposes, citizens retain the right to replace them. The right of revolution is an obligation. Locke asserted that if governments act tyrannically, such as violating property rights, destroying liberty, or stripping citizens of their safety, it breaches the social contract. When a government fails to protect its citizens, it ceases to be legitimate. And power fundamentally reverts back to the people. The citizens are entirely justified in abolishing and reforming their government. We are in rebellion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Senator Doug Shane.
Mayor Roberts, Council, I'm Doug Shane. I'm the Senator for Senate District 37 and proudly represent Edgerton as well as Gardner and Southwest Johnson County and Northern Miami County where I reside. First, I want to start by thanking all of you for serving in local government. Serving in government, like myself, you have the distinguished honor of making people mad no matter what you do. And I understand that this conversation around data centers has been uniquely challenging, and it's been something that we've had to grapple with as a state as well. Just a few, short weeks ago, I did issue a letter calling for local moratoriums on data centers to allow both local entities as well as the state to take a pause and assess the situation and really assess these unique entities and the potential benefits and also the negative downsides that might exist with their existence. It sounds like the Planning Commission has done a review of this proposed project, and you all will be having a vote on whether or not to essentially accept or override that recommendation next week. And I would just ask you to earnestly assess the issue, listen to your constituents as well, and recognize that sometimes there is reason to wait and to reassess opportunities in front of us. Certainly there will be no shortage of opportunities for the city of Edgerton. You all have had a lot of opportunities present themselves over the years, and we can see that come across in a lot of positive ways as well. So thank you for serving, thank you for giving the public the opportunity to speak, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight as well.
Thank you.
Next, I have Mary Rogers.
Welcome, Mary.
Hi, thank you. Mary Rogers, 605 West Morgan Street, Edgerton. And probably by now, you know, I'm not for the data center. But some of the things that keep kind of troubling me are that our country's worked very hard to try to make sure that our people are free and have the right to come and go as they want. And Dubai and Damak, they have slavery over there. That's totally against what our country is about. And I don't know, I just feel like that might be opening some areas that we don't want to deal with, that, you know. And this is their first project. And they've even said during some of their meetings that, well, this is what we want to do, but then there's always, might be something different that come up because they don't even really know what kind of equipment they're wanting to use. And like I said, since this is their first project in the United States, you know, they have plenty of land over there. Why don't they build it over there like they've built the whole city in the area on concrete islands and leave our land alone? I mean, I've read a lot of things that said they're going primarily for the smaller communities because of the stories they're telling, what they can do and what they can give our communities. And from what I've seen in other areas and read about, those people are now not having drinking water. There's infections in some of the lakes and some of the areas from these data centers. And also, like, they're wanting to close down one of the big lakes, Lake Powell, and just make that not even be a lake anymore because they think that Lake Mead needs the water. Our whole country is in a state of drought. And for anybody that doesn't believe that, they need to just look around or get their head out of the sand because it's out there. I mean, we need the water for our communities and for our farmers, not for some big concrete place that's gonna kind of come in and then still do what they want to do. And also a big concern is, I've talked to some of the firemen, and they're not even trained really to deal with these type of fires. Water does not put out these fires, and they're still in the process of trying to learn about that.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Next, I have Kristen Schultz.
Welcome, Kristen.
Good evening, council. My name is I'm Kristen Schultz, 32335 West 166th Street, Gardner. My name is Kristen Schultz, and I'm here both as a candidate for HD 43 and as a concerned citizen. While only a small portion of Edgerton is in the district I'm running to represent, I previously lived in this community for 11 years, and I still have many friends who live here and care deeply about its future. We often hear elected officials talk about the importance of local control, something I strongly support. Decisions that shape communities should be made by the people closest to that community. But local control is more than the authority to cast a vote. It's the responsibility to build trust throughout the process. That means listening before decisions are made, answering difficult questions, not avoiding them, and explaining not only what you decided, but why you decided it. Economic development is most successful when the public has the confidence in the process. Even people who disagree with the final decision are far more likely to accept it if they believe they were heard, their questions were answered honestly, and they were a part of the process from beginning to end. That confidence is earned through openness, not after the vote, but throughout it. That's what good local government looks like. I know we can't always guarantee everyone gets the outcome they want, but we can guarantee they are treated with respect and given the transparency they deserve. Despite this evening not being a back and forth opportunity for conversation, if you cannot answer the questions raised here tonight with credible evidence, objective sources, and full accountability, then I ask you to consider what your vote will say about you. Every vote you cast tells this community whether you believe its residents deserve to be heard, respected, and taken seriously. When the stakes are high, trust isn't granted because you hold office. It's earned by demonstrating that you listened, weighed the evidence, and treated your community with the respect it deserves. Long after this meeting ends, your vote will stand as a reflection of your judgment, your integrity, and the value you place on the people you are elected to serve.
Next, I have Courtney Sappington.
Well,
Hi, thank you. I'm Representative Courtney Sappington. I represent the 5th District of the Kansas House of Representatives, which stretches from rural Douglas County and Baldwin City through Wellsville, Edgerton, and then into rural Miami County. I'm here on behalf of my constituents in eastern rural Kansas, and more specifically for the constituents of Edgerton. I've heard a great deal of concerns about these data centers, as you all have as well, and specifically the hyperscale projects, and also for the ones that are not being built and developed by US-backed developers. Some of these foreign companies that we've heard from tonight don't have a proven track record or a spotty track record that would maybe cause us to pause and concern. So I'm not here to supersede local control because I respect the offices that the council members and the commission members hold. Your friends and neighbors have elected you to act as a stand-in for the community for decisions such as this. Just from a state perspective, I would ask that as much as it is in your power, to pause and give time for the legislature to consider some statewide standards next year. There's a lot of different options and legislation being considered, including anything from amending SB 98, codifying the large load tariff, that the highest volume electric utility users are paying, and then addressing water usage standards. I also believe there does need to be stiffer penalties for when these companies backtrack on their commitments and the promises made to communities, and I would also urge you to consider what a decommissioning plan looks like for when this type of technology inevitably has become obsolescent. So thank you for your time and for your service. I appreciate it.
thank you.
The last one I have is Christy Espinosa.
See?
I'm Christy Espinosa. I'm at 100 West Merriweather Lane, and my issue tonight actually is more of the drainage issue in town. Recently, they put in all new curb system down on First Street, and I would say it was 2 or 3 years ago that we had a drainage issue with across the street and down our whole neighborhood. And we complained enough, I guess, to get larger ditches. They're very hard to mow. They're very hard to keep up without like weed eating. I'd like to see any of you guys come over and just mow them. I would like to know if we're going to be getting the curb system as well. And I don't know, have you guys, any of you guys been over there to even see that street? Can you answer that?
We don't do back and forth, but yes, I've seen.
Okay, so we're very concerned. I have called the city. I also have ditches that have standing water. Lots of drainage that's just sitting under our ditches that are full, so our driveway doesn't drain. The street that has right on Marywood, it'll hold about 6 inches of water. I do have pictures. I do not have multiples, but I do have pictures if you guys would like to keep them or whatever. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and I would like to have it put on the agenda to take a look at and discuss.
If you share those pictures with
Yes,
the city
yes, I'll
clerk,
take
and she can copy them or scan them
Okay,
and send them.
I
to
don't
the
need them
rest.
back, but yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no,
Thank
I'll
you.
take them. That was the last comment.
All right. Well, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 7, which is consider a replacement HVAC unit for the Edgerton Community Museum. Levi, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here before you tonight, because on June 16th, 2026, staff were notified that the HVAC unit at the Edgerton Museum was not working. Staff found that further assessment would be required from a regular service provider, who then determined that repair of the unit was not feasible considering the unit's age, condition, and lack of available parts. Today, the museum is served by one exterior AC unit which powers blowers on the top and main level. Staff estimate that the current system to be approximately 15 years old. After that assessment, staff contacted 3 other companies for additional assessments and cost estimates. Of the 4 total, 2 others provided estimates and 1 declined to bid as they did not install mini split style HVAC equipment. The chart below on your sheet summarizes the cost estimates and different specifications for each bid. On this item, the cost estimate would typically fall within the purchasing authority of the city administrator. However, this expense was not planned in the 2026 operating budget, which then requires city council approval. Staff recommend approving the bid to replace the HVAC at the Edgerton Museum from Santa Fe Heating and Air at $8,583, which will be taken from the general fund unencumbered fund balance. Santa Fe Heating and Air has previously completed work with the city, and if city council prefers a longer warranty length, staff would recommend the bid from One Choice, who has been our regular service provider over the past few years and has been a good partner. So with that, I'll take any questions you guys might have.
Mayor, do you have your item? No, that's your item.
Yes, Trustee, there was an email that I sent you today from Councilor Deb Maggie. Can you please read it?
Yes, absolutely.
That's it, this is nice, too.
This was from Ms. Lavakin. Said, Mayor Roberts, I wanted to provide my thoughts ahead of this evening's meeting as I am unable to attend in person. Please share this with the council as appropriate. Regarding the HVAC replacement at the Town Museum, I reviewed the 3 options presented by city staff and support their recommendation. Santa Fe is the least expensive of the bids, has a SEER2 rating of 25, and I have had a positive personal experience with the company in the past. Taken together, the price, efficiency, and reliability make Santa Fe the most economically sound choice. If the council chooses one of the other options, I understand that an extended warranty is available. While those systems are somewhat less efficient and come at a higher cost, they do offer longer coverage, which may be a consideration for some members. I also hope the council moves forward with one of these 3 options rather than relying on a temporary measure like a window unit. While a window unit or a similar stopgap may be cheaper in short term, it is ultimately a Band-Aid solution rather than a long-term investment for the building. If I am not mistaken, we are contractually obligated to the Historical Society to adequately maintain the building. My concern is that the council could potentially decline to make an update at all, and I believe the museum deserves a permanent, reliable system. Ultimately, the museum is a cornerstone of our community's history. I hope the council keeps in mind the comfort of the curator, Charlie, as well as experience of visitors who come to learn from it. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Deb Lavakin.
Anybody else have anything to say, questions or comments? I'll make a motion that we go with Santa Fe. I'll second. We have a motion and a second to go with Santa Fe for $8,583. Roll call.
Mr. Longnecker. Mr. Lewis. Mr. Connors. Mr. Malloy. Motion is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Item 8, consider designation of official city newspaper. Ms. Banks.
Mayor and Council. About 2 years ago, we designated the legal record as the official city newspaper. Since that time, the Johnson County Post has become available as an option for us. They now comply with the state laws for a state qualified newspaper for legal notice publications. So we did a quick comparison and did They are more expensive, generally speaking, but the lower subscriber cost would mean that it was more accessible to most of our residents. So the Johnson County Post is about half, more than half the cost of the legal record.
The Post obviously also carries more traditional news coverage, so they cover, the legal record is very much a legal publication.
Questions or comments? I got a comment is, I'm actually happy to see this because after we lost the Gardner News, it has been less accessible, although people could still get it online. You know, I'm a huge believer in the transparency that a local paper brings. People can choose to subscribe or not, but I think making it affordable for our residents is the right way to do it. Questions, comments?
Do you have an idea of like current paper subscribers?
I did not ask that.
How much extra will it cost the city over a year's time compared to the savings?
It depends on what we actually end up publishing
Well,
every year.
yeah, I don't know
So,
how much that you do, I mean,
when we do an ordinance, public hearings, those all go up there. I couldn't give you a ballpark, because it would vary pretty drastically depending on what actions have to be taken that year. Unfortunately.
well, that's okay, no, I like Don said, I like the idea that it's giving people a better chance of actually getting it old style. Because I'm old. But, it sounds like a good idea, I didn't know if there was gonna be a big difference, I don't know how much publishing the city does.
I think we budget $5,500 a year, so it's not a ton.
That's for the, what is it? The legal record. Do we use that much?
We don't, generally.
So that's just what's budgeted, so
Yeah.
we spend maybe that much, maybe a little more, but not really going over too much.
I would not expect that we would go over significantly.
Sounds like a good idea. Plus it's a little bit more local.
All right, published in Shawnee.
Up in Prairie Village, Shawnee, northern Johnson County. They were the Prairie Village Post for a while, and then they became the Johnson County Post, and they got Blue Valley Post.
Yeah, they've expanded over the years. I mean, in their beginnings, yes, even the Post, they really didn't cover this far out. Now they do, there's articles, so, yeah. Other questions? What was yours?
Hold on a second. Is there, do you represent?
No, I do not.
I thought it said somewhere in here, she's
There
not.
is a reporter that often attends, I don't see her here tonight.
Okay, it just said that there was a.
Yeah, she has been at several meetings, but I don't see her in the audience tonight.
I didn't know if we got involved with that. Okay.
If there's no other comments or questions, then I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Roll call?
Mr. Longmaker?
Aye.
Mr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Connors?
Aye.
Mr. Malloy?
Aye.
Motion is carried 4-0.
Okay, report by city administrator.
Good evening, council and mayor. Public Works has been hard at it. First I'll go over Q1 highlights. Winter operations, we had 9 total events, but 5 of them were active. We kind of had a weird winter this year. But even though that only 5 of them were active, the other 4 definitely we were still prepping for the winter storm, pre-treating, held active on-call responses, all that good jazz to make sure that residents stayed safe either on their commute into work or their commute coming home to work. So total we spread 170 tons of salt and we did 1,600 gallons of brine. They're just, because of the way the storms ended up working out, we had a lot of rain into sleet into snow, and catching those windows and being able to utilize brine just wasn't really in the cards for us this year. So we banked on the ease and accessibility of salting. we drove a total of 3,450 miles, which is pretty incredible. We plowed the streets a lot of times. Then after that, as it started to taper off and we got into the early spring, several down signs occurred and we replaced those. We did 245 miles of sweeping in order to clean up potential salt residues and leftover leaves and things of that nature, especially leading into springtime, to prevent too much water backup in our roadways. And then we did 12 miles of gravel road maintenance, mostly from devastations from salt and snow and stuff over the winter. And then we led into Q2. So far we've done 40 tons or so of asphalt, probably 4 to 5 asphalt patches in total. We did a lot of tree trimming in the beginning, especially for leading into the springtime and high winds. We had several of those goofy storms that were 70, 80 mile an hour winds. Tons of fleet maintenance after winter, 68 work orders in total. Just trying to get back up to operation so that we can hit the ground running for the summertime. We also did a bunch of other departmental help, other departmental support, a lot of data collection. We did valve exercising, crack sealing, storm box clean out program is fully complete, just to make sure that we had all of our ducks in a row. Making sure that we knew where all of our valves were, where our fire hydrants are, all of that good jazz, and that took a considerable amount of effort from the Public Works Department to just step in and be that manpower. But other than that, that's what Public Works has been up to the last couple of months. Any questions? I'd love to answer.
Have you got all the crack sealing done?
No, 50% of it. So normally when I do springtime and then I do fall, so that any of those asphalt patches throughout the summer, I can seal them up before wintertime comes. So I kind of divvy it up that way.
Well, that's what really matters.
For sure, heading into wintertime, it's important.
We appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else? Report by me, I'm gonna turn over some time to our city attorney, for an update on the AG core request. So, yours.
Okay, thanks. Well, as you guys know, we had communication from the Attorney General, there was a complaint filed about the issue that came up in June that you guys addressed about the turnover of certain documents, that was a Word document that was desired by someone. That complaint was filed with the AG. The AG issued a request of the city to provide information, which it did, and fully responded to. That was about the time that the matter came up for your review, to determine if you're going to turn it over. You determined that you would not turn it over. And that was noted as well in the response, and we did get, as you have in front of you, a letter from the Attorney General's office indicating that they're not assessing any violations, that the exception noted was correctly used by the city, and that no further action is going to be taken. So, just thought you should know the results of that, and that was represented a lot of hard work by the staff, and they have procedures in place to make sure that these are properly responded to quickly and thoroughly. So we're always glad to see that the process work and backed up by the Attorney General. And I'm certainly glad to answer the questions that you have about
Any questions or comments? I appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done in this and staff, but, I think it's, I just say kudos to everybody that was involved with it for us doing the right thing. So, thank you.
And it's important to recognize that Dusty is the key. She uses documents.
For documents.
Yep.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other reports. Future meeting reminders, tonight, right after this, probably about 10, 15 minutes after this, we'll go into a work session to take the first look at budget. staff is gonna rearrange the room, and then we have July 14th, Planning Commission, July 16th, Special Council Meeting, July 23rd, City Council Meeting, August 11th, Planning Commission Meeting, August 13th, City Council Meeting, August 27th, City Council Meeting. With no further motion, you can check out the events at the bottom of the page. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right.